Hi everyone. This week I get into the templating portion of the barrel vault framing. These templates will serve as the basis for the ribs of the vault, and getting them consistent and accurate is crucial to getting a good looking finished vault. I'll talk about how I went from tracing the shape of the ribs to having a working template that I can use to batch cut the framing lumber. So last week I showed you how to design and put together a large jig that will allow me to come up with the shape of the ribs of the bedroom barrel vault and to place them accurately. So this week I'll start making those ribs by first creating a template, or really two of them to be accurate. The first thing I needed to do was to place the jig up against the closet walls. The closets now give me a surface to hold the template up temporarily while I work out the geometry. I start by making some measurements, then can cut a first block at the angle between the roofline and plumb from the jig. I then bring the template back and screw it to where it needs to be, then trace the curve of the vault. After that, I can cut the curve and throw the template back up to check that it fits how I want it. And then I can do the same for the upper template. You'll notice that it takes me a few tries to get the right plumb cut to meet the LVL beam, and that is because I failed to notice that most of the template was in the way of fitting right, so as I removed material it started to fit better and better. This really goes to show that I'm working out these templates in a sort of incremental manner, where I'm slowly getting close to the shape that I like, and I don't take off a bunch of material all at once. I just kind of slowly get to it. Now that I'm happy with the two templates, I can take them back to the shop and clean them up. I first needed a plywood template with an inside curve cut out so I can make that using the flush trim bit in my palm router. I then used that plywood template to clean the curve I cut into the framing template. I'm trying to refine these templates as far as I can before using them to trace the other parts. So I used the combination of the router with a flush trim bit, the spindle sander, and some curved hand planes to get a fair curve. And I can now use these framing templates to see how the 2x12s are going to be best used. And I noticed that I had plenty of extra material to work with, which gave me the opportunity to improve on the templates. So this next round of refinement lets me thicken and lengthen the templates, and I was actually able to cut them long enough to scarf them together, which will add a good bit of strength to the framing. It took me a few tries, but I got it just how I wanted them in the end. I then went back to the shop to clean them up and started batch cutting the ribs. After tracing the templates to maximize the use of the 2x12s and avoid most defects, I can start cutting them out. I use the skill saw for all straight cuts as it gives me the most accuracy and the straightest cuts. Once the pieces are rough cut, I can come back and worry about the curves. I tried using the jigsaw for these, but got pretty frustrated at how slowly it went. So I switched to scoring about half an inch down with the skill saw and finishing the cut at the bandsaw. I keep the curve cuts rough and about a 1/4 inch away from my line, and then clean them up using my templates. For that, I use a tall flush trim bit on the router table. I can screw the template into the rough cut rib and get after it. You could also use the same flush trim bit in a hand router, but the router table seems safer to me. The one thing to pay attention to when routing these curves is the grain direction. As the curve changes from going into the board and then out of the board, so does the grain. And I now have all my ribs cut. The combination of all these steps really allows me to make sure that all these ribs come out the same, which in the end will result in a truer, straighter barrel vault. You can now see how the jig helped me come up with the templates for the barrel vault, and now how the templates ensure a level of accuracy when installing them, paired with the jig, which we'll get into next week's video. Make sure you check out the previous videos in this playlist to get more information on this project, and thanks for watching. Now get back to work.